Hi, my name's Jonathan Hicks. I'm back at the Dice Cup, and this evening I'm joined by
Tim,
Sophie,
and Kush.
And we just finished playing Hardback, which is a sequel to Paperback, which both these games effectively combine a deck builder with a word game. And they're quite similar. I'll explain briefly how you play. Essentially like a deck builder, as you might imagine, you have a deck of cards, and you draw 5 cards on your turn, and you look at them, and there's got various letters on them, and you're trying to spell the best word you can, essentially. So now Q is a bit difficult here, so if I put this over here, I've got a CK. C is good before a K. I could put an I here, but you see I'm so close to making quick, but I can't quite do it. But you can always take any card you like, turn it face over, and make it wild. Once you've played all the cards and made a word, then you get to use the abilities on the card, but any card you turn over to make wild, you don't get to use the abilities. So this card would normally give me a coin, you can see here, which I could spend to buy other cards, but if I make it wild, I can't. So then you count up, some of these cards are going to get you victor points. You see this one immediately gives me some victor points. There's a victor point tracker, and effectively it's the first person to 60 points kind of triggers the end of the game, and most points at the end wins. But the other thing you can be doing, as well as getting some points, is you're getting coins by playing these things, and you're using coins to buy more cards. So you have some basic cards, which are these ones which you start with, but then there's like an offer in the middle, and you can buy any of these cards. So you can see the cost at the bottom left here, and you just pay it, and you add it like normal deck building to your discard pile, and it's going to get shuffled around, and eventually you're going to get to draw it. But a couple of other nice things. If you perhaps play 2 letters from a matching set, if you like, this is the romance genre of books here, hence the heart, then not only do you get the top ability on these cards, but you get to trigger the bottom ability as well. So it becomes quite powerful if you can buy cards of kind of matching sets and use them in your deck. The other thing is you can spend money on these ink tokens. So it's 1 coin per ink token, and when it's your turn, if you've drawn some cards, you might be like, oh, I don't quite have the letters I need, or I'd like to make a bigger word and get more points. You can turn over another card from your deck here, and you have to spend one of your ink tokens to do it. You stick it on top of the card, but you have to use this card as part of your word. So it's a bit of a risk. If you can't make a word having drawn this card, then you forfeit your entire turn. So you've got to be very careful with that. There's also various ways to get these like removers, which will remove it, so in that case you wouldn't have to use it. So there's a few various things you can do there. There are some player powers you can add into the game, and various extra variations which are quite nice. But essentially, you're making words, trying to get better cards, which gets you more money to get better cards, and ultimately get as many points as you can. Most points wins. What do we think?
I thought it was pretty good. It took a while to get into it, but it's a similar idea to games like Ascension and Star Realms, I think, with the sort of the deck building and the different the genres being sort of slightly different in what abilities they'll give you. It's really nicely produced and sort of nicely thematic, and obviously it's making words. So if you like Scrabble or things like that, it may be your bag. And ways that you can trade off people and use the special abilities as well. That each player has got a special ability, and we found those made a big difference. So I liked it.
Okay, Sophie?
I really liked it. I found it was a lot more freedom than in an average word game, so that really allowed you to make lots of weird and wonderful words, and sort of rewarded you for knowing unusual words or useless words like palimpsest, and that there was that aspect to it, but as well a bit of a tactical aspect, which I think would improve on more plays of the game.
Okay, Ankush?
I like the idea of the game, or the game mechanics. The problem I had was with the balance, or there's like no real incentive to buy any more cards after you've set up a good engine, and you just want to print VPs with your engine rather than buy more cards. So it doesn't really work for me like tactically, but I enjoyed the word creation aspect, or the use of the ink and stuff like that. So I think with a bit more work, this game could be really good. But right now, I don't really rate it as like a strategy or tactical game.
Rating?
I'd give it 7 out of 10.
Okay, Sophie?
I very much enjoyed it myself, so 8.5.
Okay, Tim?
Are we doing halves? 7.5.
Yeah, sure. Yes, I'm not a huge word game fan, I should say that. I've actually played a lot of Scrabble in my life, but not a huge fan of it. But this is the best word game, along with Paperback, that I've ever played, really. So given that, I quite enjoy making the words. As Sophie says, it does give you a lot of freedom. The fact that you can turn any card face down and it be wild is really helpful. So I think it does its job really well. It's very natural to compare it with paperback, and they are very similar. There's a couple of differences, just quickly. The main ones being that in this one, you're activating cards to give you victory points on a track, whereas in paperback, you're buying victory point cards to add to your deck. So that's one of the big differences. Paperback doesn't have the ink tokens. I like the introduction of the ink tokens in this one. Again, it gives you a lot more freedom, you get a lot more options on your turn. That push your luck ability drawing cards is really nice. It's a little bit risky, but I really enjoyed it. I think I'd give it a 7 out of 10 myself. So very solid. If you like word games and you like deck builders, you definitely want to check this one out. All right, thanks for watching. That was Hardback.